And today I'm going to go over Genova specialty testing, the protocol on how to send out your samples. So the first thing I want you to look for is on your kit boxes on the outside here. We're going to go over first the one that says Organix, Organic Acid Profiles, and this is going to be your urine sample. So the first thing I want you to do is find your requisition form, and there's a couple of things here that I want to make sure are checked off. The first one here is going to be an X by the Organix Comprehensive Profile. There's going to be a circle right here with a date. This is going to be the date of the sample collected. So let's say it's going to be tomorrow morning for you. You're going to put the date there. You want to make sure that it says Bill Healthcare Practitioner Account, that's checked off. On the back here where there's circles, that's where you're going to put your patient information. So you're going to fill this out completely. And then here you're going to sign and date. So there's three things you're responsible for filling out: date of the sample, your patient information, and then you're going to date and sign. So this is the requisition form, and this is going to be sent with your kit. All right, so the first thing that we want to think through is, let's just say hypothetically that you're going to give your sample tomorrow. So tonight after 8 p.m., I do not want you to drink more than 8 ounces of water. And the reason for this is I want your urine to be really potent. Okay, if you drink too many fluids, then we're not going to get as good of a sample from your lab test. So tonight, we don't want to drink more than 8 ounces of water after 8 p.m. So first thing in the morning, this is a fasting urine, which just means that we're going to use the urine first thing in the morning. Now, if you do wake up and go to the restroom in the middle of the night, I want you to use a clean glass container and put a few drops of it in there and then put it in the fridge. Let's say if you waked up again in the night, then you'd put more urine in that same container and then put it back in the fridge. All right, and then first thing in the morning, we're going to put a few more drops in that same container and then take the specimen from there. Now, if you don't wake up in the night, that's perfect. It's just going to be the first urine in the morning. You're going to put it in a clean container, like a glass cup or bowl is fine. We don't need a ton of urine. As you can see, this vial is relatively small. So what you're going to do is use this pipette. You'll scoop the urine out of the cup or bowl and fill up this specimen vial all the way here to this top line. Genova's a little bit picky. They don't want it to be below the line or above it, just right there at the top. A couple of things we're going to do on this vial here. There's this green piece of paper, and it's going to help remind you to make sure you have your patient information on this vial. So what you're going to put here with a black Sharpie, you're going to put your first and last name, and then you can kind of just rotate it. You'll put male or female, you can rotate it again, and then you'll put your date of birth. So your first and last name, date of birth, and male or female. That's going to go on this vial. Once you have the urine in here, you're going to take this freezer pack, which was found inside this clear plastic bag, and these both are going to go in the freezer. We need the urine to be frozen before we're actually going to mail it. And then once it's frozen, it's ready to be shipped. So let's say we have your urine in here and you've put your patient information on and it is frozen. We're going to stick these here in this bag, and you don't need to keep the pipette, of course, you could throw that away. And then this here is going to go in your specimen kit box. All right, we want to make sure that your requisition form is completed, and that's also in this box. And then another piece of paper here is going to be your personal health assessment. So this is something that you're going to complete. You're going to put your patient information all here at the top, and then there's a key code 0 through 4. So what you're going to do is go through each symptom here, and you're going to rate what you're currently experiencing on the front. And then on the back, this is going to be your medical and your supplement history. So for example, if you've been diagnosed with acid reflux, you'd check that off. And if you're currently taking a medication for that, then you'd also check that off. If you haven't been diagnosed and you're not taking any kind of medications, you would obviously leave this top part blank. The bottom part here is for your supplements. Again, these are ones that you're currently using every day. If you're not taking anything consistently, then I don't want you to check it off. The neat thing about this testing is you don't have to stop taking your medications or your supplements in order to do the testing. We just want to know specifically what you're actually taking. So for example here, if you're taking a multivitamin every day, you check that off. So this form, after it's completed, is going to go in your test kit box, and then it's going to be ready to be mailed. So we will just close it. And then this is your shipping bag, and this is FedEx. So we'll open up the bag here, and then we're going to put your kit right inside. we'll peel off this plastic and then you'll seal it shut. You can tell here there's a spot where you're going to put your shipping label. That's what this looks like right here on the white side. And what I'm going to have you do is fill out your personal information. So you'll put your name here on the top line. Then you'll put your address, and I know they don't give you a whole lot of room. You can continue over here if you need to. And then your phone number. Okay, once that's completed, you can peel it off. And then you're going to stick it right here on the bag. And then this is ready to be mailed. FedEx gives you their shipping instructions here on this blue piece of paper. You want to make sure that you're reading the US side. Sometimes they have Puerto Rico on the other side. So let's make sure we're reading the US shipping instructions. And there's a phone number here, a 1-800 number. You can call them and they will actually come pick up the kits for you from your front door, which is pretty convenient. So when you call them, what you're going to do is you're going to tell them that you have what's called a billable stamp. Okay, that's what we put on our bag. That means that the cost of mailing the kits is already included in what you paid for. So a billable stamp, you'll let them know that. They'll ask for your address. And then I just kind of want you to ask them about how many minutes until they're going to show up to pick up your kit, because we do live in Florida. It is warm outside. I don't want it sitting on your front porch and just thawing for a significant amount of time before they show up. So if they're relatively close, you can go ahead and set it on your front porch. If they're not, then let's save it in the freezer until closer to when they actually come. All right, if you don't want them to come and pick it up at your front door, if it's more convenient for you to drop it off, you definitely have that as an option. You would just go in and let them know that you have test samples in here and just drop off your box, okay? So this is for the urine. Again, a recap, we're going to make sure that we don't drink any fluid after 8 p.m. Then first thing in the morning, it is fasting urine, which means it's the first urine. If you did wake up in the night, then you would use those samples and keep them in the fridge and combine it with the first morning. Make sure that your forms are filled out, including your requisition form, your personal health assessment, and that your sample is frozen with the freezer pack and in this bag. All right, let's move on now to the blood. So after you give your urine sample, you're a little bit dehydrated because you haven't had a lot of fluid since the night before. So I'd actually like for you to drink a full cup of water before you give the blood sample. So we've done our urine, now we're moving on to the blood. You can drink a full cup of water, and then I want you to look in your test kit here, and you're gonna find this little white piece of paper here that says blood spot fatty acids, okay? So we'll go ahead and set that out. And then you're also gonna need this clear plastic bag, and we'll put this here. So your requisition form is very similar to the urine. There's a couple of things that you're responsible for filling out. We want to make sure that the healthcare practitioner is checked, as well as the blood spot fatty acids. But what you're going to complete is the date of the sample. So making sure you have the correct date there. Your patient information, so we're going to fill that completely out here at the top. And then at the bottom, you're going to sign and date. Okay, so 3 circles here, here, and then on the front. So once this is completed, you can put this in this envelope, and this is prepaid for shipping. It's a little bit complicated to fit everything in here the way that it's already creased, so just kind of fold it additionally, and then it will just slide right in, okay? So we'll put this in here. Something that is a little repetitive with the test, and I am sorry for that, is this personal health assessment form. We do have to complete this again for the blood spot because these kits are being sent in separate. But you've already done it one time, so the second time, hopefully you can just key it. All right, so you are gonna fill out your patient information here again at the top. You're gonna key it 0 through 4 based on what you're currently experiencing symptom-wise. Your past medical history, if you're taking any type of medications, and then supplements here are all gonna be at the bottom. All right, so this is also gonna go in this envelope. Again, you can just fold it additionally and stick it in. Now it's time to give our sample. So you have that full cup of water. Now we're gonna open up this little bag here, and I want you to find the alcohol pad because we're gonna clean off your finger. So you're gonna rip this open, you're gonna clean off your middle finger, and it's actually right here at the tip, right above your nail bed. That's gonna be the best place for getting an adequate sample. Also, if your arm is cold, I do want to mention it's better if you're warm. So if you need to kind of rub your hands, if you need to make sure, put your hand under warm water, that's okay to warm it up. So you're going to clean your finger off, and then we're going to use this blue piece here, you're gonna remove the lid, okay? And then what you're gonna do is stick it right here on the edge and you just press in. It's just a little prick, it's not very invasive at all. Sometimes people are like, oh, I don't really see any blood coming. So you'll actually need to kind of work your finger. You'll see a little spot of blood. And then what we're gonna do here, these 4 little circles, you're gonna fill all 4 of these up. So I want you to be really careful here that we actually fill them completely versus them being sporadic, okay? So the lab is pretty picky on this. They need that full circle filled out, which honestly, it's not too complicated because the blood literally just kind of bleeds and fills up that spot there. So what you're gonna do next is write your name and your date. All right, so we wanna fill this out, and then with this kit, you're actually gonna leave this somewhere safe. So if this is somewhere on your kitchen counter or in your bathroom, somewhere where people aren't gonna mess with it in your family, we wanna set it somewhere where it can dry for 24 hours. Okay, so it does have to be dry before we put it in the mail. So let's say it's been 24 hours and we're ready to mail it. Now we're gonna put this little white, it's kind of like gauze on top of this, and it's just as a protectant, okay? This is going to go also in the envelope here. And then everything you need is now in this envelope. You would seal it, and then you can drop this in your mailbox. I do want to mention that this is very time sensitive, the blood spot. If you do it, let's say tomorrow morning, the next day it's drying, I really want you to be focused on putting it in the mail the exact next day. If the lab doesn't receive an adequate time, then we'd have to redo the sample. So let's just make sure that we remember to mail this, and then that's it. I did want to remind you that the instructions for the urine and the blood spot are in the boxes. They're these white pieces of paper. So if you have any questions, you can kind of go through this. It's all here, but I just wanted to show you and kind of give you a good visual today. If you have any questions, additionally, you can email me at wellness@westchasechiropractic.com. Thank you.